Hey, it's Kevin. Thank you so much for coming by for another No BS social media chat. The message this week, very simple, just by the title of the post, think. It's funny, I'll run into friends, I'll run into clients, I'll just run into people we talk about, social media in general, especially even when I'm talking to prospective clients. They're coming in and I've done a kind of a run through of all their social media. And I'll ask them, what were you thinking about when you did this particular thing, whether it was create a video or send out this tweet or even do a Facebook post or something like that? What were you thinking? And usually see a blank stare and there's not really a quick answer. So that's why we just send the simple message of, well, you need to think about it. Yeah, the old Aretha Franklin song, you remember? Think, you better think. Well, that's really the genesis of this. I'm sitting there watching the Blues Brothers movie the other night where she sings in the middle of it. And it's like, it all kind of clicked. I had a call with a client earlier that day, and I said, what were you thinking about when you did that particular picture on Instagram? It's not flattering. It doesn't look good. Like, well, I was just thinking I needed to do something. It was like, so you weren't thinking, you were just doing, you were just reacting. And you know what? It's one thing if you're using social media just for fun, you don't have to think about it. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, do I overthink things? Sure, absolutely. Do I utilize my personal social media channels, the stuff I just do for fun? Again, I have professional social media channels for me, for my Kevin Mason brand, in addition to my Intensity Media brand, in addition to my Kevin Mason Music Marketing brand. I have some fun stuff, a place for me to hang out, chat, to do silly stuff, and just to experiment. But I'm always thinking about what I'm doing. Yeah, I know you don't need to think. As I said, my wife doesn't necessarily think about what she does with social media. She doesn't see an end game with social media because she's not in it for business gain. She's not in it for anything other than connecting with friends, with coworkers, connecting with relatives, connecting with people from her past. She's using social media like most normal people use social media. But if you're watching this video, I know you're a little bit more serious about it. I know you're using it for some professional gain, whether it's to build your personal brand, and we talk about personal branding all the time, or whether to build your career in some way, whether it's business, or even then again, just to build your business brand as well, whether it's a small business, whether you're a media type, again, whether you're a music type, whatever that small business is, whether you're working with a charity. I have folks who work with charities that watch these things. You need to always stop and think about what you're doing. Think about not only what you're doing, but think about why you're doing it. It's not like there's going to be a test at the end of the show. It's just about always a good idea to put some thought process into it. Yes, it sometimes can get to be so, boring and time consuming and not fun if you overthink it, if you think about it. But again, that's what makes it interesting. If you're really using this as a tool to build a brand, again, personal brand, business brand, whatever it is. If you're using social media for professional gain, you need to put some thought process into it. I've actually had some friends who, they run social media for their big companies, whether it's a media company, radio stations in particular, and they'll have people who are working for them doing the social media, and somebody will post something and it'll disappear a couple hours later. And it's like, I wonder what they were thinking when they did that. Well, the answer is they weren't thinking about it. A lot of times too, especially with the big brands, whether they make a mistake or a faux pas, online. And you see these things happen all the time. People say, oh, so-and-so posted this to Twitter, and oh, look what happened, they had to take it down. Better yet, fine example. I heard the other day Justin Timberlake was in Tennessee. He has a residence established, well, actually lives outside of Nashville, but has a residence established in Memphis where he grew up, and he still votes there. So he went back and voted in Memphis. He was in LA and came back to vote in Memphis and took a picture of himself, a selfie, with his ballot in his hand while he's getting ready to vote. In the state of Tennessee, that's against the law. You can't do that. While you can use your smartphone in the voting booth to get information, you can't show the surroundings. You can't show the process. You can't show the equipment. It's against the law. And there are a lot of states like that. He didn't know. So, here's a guy who ends up putting up a picture that has a couple million people look at it and a couple million people like it and comment. I don't know if it's a couple million, 100,000, whatever. It's Justin Timberlake. I mean, the man's got, tens of millions of followers. But he took it down. Now, I don't know about you. I couldn't afford to lose a post that was that important because I don't have the fan base to be able to sustain that. If I were to lose a post like that, it would affect me greatly. So I make sure to think about those things ahead of time. Now, again, it's Justin Timberlake. He's rich. He's famous. He doesn't have to think so much. But you and me, regular people, trying to build a brand, trying to build a personal brand, trying to build a business brand, got to think about those things sometimes. And not just that, but just about anything. I know it's silly and I know it's stupid. Better to think ahead than to pay the consequences down the road. Just one little thought process. 2 seconds, 5 seconds. Think, should I do this? Yep, do it. It's a good idea. Back next week with another No BS social media chat. NoBSSocial.com. It's our website where you find all the videos. You can find all 100 plus. I don't know how many we're doing now. 175, 165, 100. I don't even know. Each and every week we're here. Also on YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube. NoBSSocial.com is our channel there. You can also find us on Facebook. I post them up on my Intensity Media Facebook page. Again, wherever you found us this week, just make sure to bookmark it. Note it again. We'll be here next week with another No BS social media chat. Want to get a hold of me? Want to talk more? Hey, let's reach out, please. Don't feel I'm going to try to talk you into buying something. It's not what it's about. The more I can help, the more people can learn, the better off we're all going to be. My phone number, my email address, all coming up here at the end of the video. Thanks. See you next week.